Have you ever wondered why life sometimes feels so overwhelming, as if an invisible hand is crafting a story you don't fully understand? What if those moments of struggle, the whispers of doubt, and the flashes of unexplainable clarity weren't random at all? C.S. Lewis once said, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. Could it be that the challenges you face are signs of something far greater, signs that you are chosen by God?" Today we'll uncover 7 surprising clues that may reveal a divine purpose working through your life, in ways you might never have noticed before. Stay with me, because what you discover may transform the way you see yourself forever. Picture this: a child standing in a field at sunset, staring at the horizon, feeling something beyond words, an inexplicable longing for more. Maybe you felt it too, that quiet yearning that tugs at your soul when life goes quiet. It's not just nostalgia or imagination, it's what Lewis called the inconsolable secret, the innate sense that we were made for something beyond this world. This feeling, this unshakable sense of purpose, is the first thread in a tapestry God may be weaving in your life. It's the starting point, but so many of us dismiss it. After all, how can something so intangible hold any real significance? And yet, isn't it true that the most profound things in life, love, faith, hope, are things we can't touch or explain? But here's where it gets difficult. Life doesn't always confirm this sense of calling, does it? In fact, it often feels like the opposite. You pray for guidance, but silence answers. You strive for good, only to encounter setback after setback. It's like walking in fog, unsure of the next step. And yet, here lies the paradox: the very struggles you're facing may be the strongest indicators that you're on a divine path. Lewis wrote that God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. Are the hardships you're enduring not obstacles but messages? Could they be shaping you for a purpose you can't yet comprehend? Think about it: every great story has its turning point, where the hero faces a crisis so profound it nearly breaks them. Frodo had his ring, Moses had his wilderness, and you. Perhaps your struggles aren't punishments but preparations. Each trial is a chisel, carving you into the person you were meant to become. The loneliness you feel, the dreams deferred, the losses you've endured, they all whisper a deeper truth: you are being refined. But it's hard to see that when you're in the middle of the storm, isn't it? It's easier to feel forgotten than chosen. Let me ask you something: have you ever felt a deep dissatisfaction with the ordinary? A sense that no matter how much you achieve, there's always something missing? Lewis described this as the shadowlands of life, where every earthly pleasure, no matter how sweet, leaves us wanting more. That ache is not a flaw, it's a clue. It's a reminder that you were made for another world, one where purpose and fulfillment intertwine. And here's the twist: that longing isn't random. It's a divine breadcrumb, left by God to guide you back to Him. You might be thinking, but why me? Why would God choose me for anything special? The truth is, being chosen doesn't always feel like a privilege. In fact, it often feels like the opposite. It feels like rejection, isolation, or an uphill battle. But think of the disciples, ordinary fishermen called to an extraordinary mission. They didn't see themselves as chosen either, at least not at first. And yet, through their doubts and failures, God revealed His purpose. Could the same be happening in your life right now in ways you don't yet understand? And this is where the shift begins. The signs are all around you, but they're subtle, hidden beneath the surface of your daily life. The question is, are you willing to look closer? Because the answers you seek aren't in grand gestures or miraculous events, they're in the quiet moments, the still, small voice, and the persistent nudges that refuse to let you settle for less. These are the markers of being chosen, and they've been there all along, waiting for you to notice. Imagine a world where every moment of uncertainty, every trial, every unanswered question was part of a grand design. C.S. Lewis believed that our lives are stories written by a divine author, and that even the most challenging chapters serve a purpose. If you're here, you're likely searching for answers, for a deeper understanding of why your path has unfolded the way it has. To uncover the signs that you're chosen by God, we need to step back and explore the bigger picture, the intricate layers of meaning behind the struggles and triumphs you've faced. Let's dive into the context that frames these signs and sets the stage for transformation. Have you ever wondered why certain events in your life seem too interconnected to be mere coincidence? Maybe you've experienced moments where doors closed seemingly without reason, only to later realize they led you to something better. Lewis would call this the severe mercy of God, the idea that even painful detours are acts of grace, redirecting us toward the path we were always meant to walk. To understand these signs, we first need to recognize that God's ways are not our ways. His timeline isn't ours, and his methods often appear baffling, even harsh. But what if the chaos in your life is not chaos at all, but a carefully orchestrated plan? Think back to the moments that shaped you most. Were they times of ease and comfort, or were they seasons of difficulty? For most of us, it's the latter. Struggles have a way of forging strength, and loss often reveals what truly matters. Lewis once wrote, "We are not necessarily doubting that God will do the best for us, we are wondering how painful the best will turn out to be." This is the paradox of being chosen. The signs aren't always glamorous or easy to spot, they're often wrapped in the very things we'd rather avoid: heartbreak, rejection, failure. But it's precisely through these experiences that God prepares us for something greater. Let's add another layer to this understanding. Being chosen isn't just about individual purpose, it's about connection. You're not an isolated piece of the puzzle, but part of a larger story, one that spans generations. Lewis believed that every soul has a role to play in the divine narrative, and that our choices ripple outward, affecting others in ways we can't see. The friendships you've formed, the people you've helped, the lives you've touched, these are not accidents. They are evidence of your significance in the grand design. Even your struggles serve a communal purpose, teaching empathy, compassion, and resilience that you can offer to others. Now let's foreshadow what's to come. Have you ever had a moment where everything seemed to click? A sudden realization or a pattern emerging where you least expected it? These moments are like breadcrumbs on the trail, leading you toward clarity. But here's the catch: not every sign is obvious. Some are shrouded in mystery, requiring patience and faith to uncover. The signs you'll discover may challenge your assumptions about what it means to be chosen. They may ask you to rethink your pain, to see it not as a punishment but as a preparation. Are you ready for that? As we peel back the layers, it's important to confront the conflict at the heart of this journey. Being chosen doesn't guarantee an easy life. In fact, it often means the opposite. Think of biblical figures like Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his brothers, or Esther, who risked her life to save her people. Their paths were fraught with difficulty, but their struggles were the very things that positioned them for greatness. Your life is no different. The obstacles you face are not signs of abandonment, but invitations to rise. They are shaping you, molding you into the person you were always meant to be. But let's not oversimplify. It's one thing to hear that struggles have a purpose, it's another to live through them. When you're in the thick of it, when the weight of uncertainty presses down, it's hard to see the bigger picture. This is where faith comes in, not blind faith, but a faith that wrestles, that questions, that seeks understanding. Lewis described faith as the art of holding on to things your reason has once accepted, in spite of your changing moods. It's the anchor that keeps you steady when the waves threaten to pull you under. This journey is not just about identifying signs, it's about transformation. It's about seeing your life through a new lens, one that reveals the fingerprints of God in places you never thought to look. The unanswered prayers, the closed doors, the delays and disappointments, they all serve a purpose. They're not just roadblocks, they're signposts, pointing you towards something greater. But to see them, you must be willing to let go of your assumptions and embrace the mystery of God's plan. As we move forward, the signs will become clearer, but they'll also challenge you. They'll ask you to trust in the unseen, to believe in the goodness of God, even when life feels anything but good. This is the essence of faith, not certainty, but trust. It's the willingness to say, I don't understand, but I believe, and in that belief, transformation begins. Stay with me as we unravel the mystery and reveal the signs that show you're chosen by God. This is your story, your journey, and it's far from over. The best chapters are yet to come. Have you ever felt as though your life is a puzzle with missing pieces, fragments that refuse to come together no matter how hard you try? It's frustrating, isn't it? But here's the thing, what if the missing pieces aren't meant to make sense just yet? What if they're part of a divine mystery waiting to unfold? In this section, we'll step deeper into the mystery of being chosen by God, peeling back the layers and uncovering the truth hidden within the struggles, questions, and quiet moments of your life. Let's start with this. The mystery of God's plan isn't a maze designed to confuse you, it's an invitation to trust. C.S. Lewis often spoke about how God's ways are veiled not because he wants to withhold from us, but because the process of seeking him transforms us. This journey is not just about answers, it's about growth. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest, unsure of the path ahead. The trail is faint, and the way forward isn't clear. But with each step you take, the path begins to reveal itself. This is the nature of divine guidance. It doesn't come all at once, it comes as you move forward in faith. But here's the tension, life rarely feels this simple. It's filled with red herrings, things that seem important but turn out to be distractions. Maybe you've experienced this. You thought a particular goal, relationship, or opportunity was your breakthrough, only to find it wasn't. It's disheartening, isn't it? Yet Lewis reminds us that God sees differently than we do. What seems like a dead end to you might actually be a detour leading to something far greater. The mystery lies in learning to see through God's eyes, to trust that even when the path is unclear, you're being guided. Let me take you deeper into this conflict. Imagine a potter shaping clay. The process isn't gentle, it involves pressure, scraping, and heat. But every movement serves a purpose, creating something beautiful. That's your life. The struggles you face, the rejections, the losses, the moments of doubt are the hands of the potter at work. Lewis wrote, "We are, not metaphorically but in very truth, a divine work of art. You are being shaped, and while the process is uncomfortable, the result is a masterpiece." But let's not pretend that this is easy to accept. In the midst of suffering, it's hard to believe that anything good could come of it. When prayers go unanswered and hopes are dashed, it's natural to feel forgotten. Yet it's often in these moments of despair that God's presence is most profound. Think of the story of Job, who lost everything yet found God in the whirlwind. Or Joseph, who endured betrayal and imprisonment only to rise as a leader who saved his people. Their stories remind us that the darkest chapters often hold the seeds of redemption. Now let's open the mystery box. Have you ever considered that the very things you see as flaws or failures might be the clearest signs that you're chosen? The parts of your life that seem broken may be the very areas where God's glory will shine the brightest. Lewis described this as the weight of glory, the idea that our suffering is not meaningless but is preparing us for an eternal purpose. The wounds you carry, the scars you bear, they are not marks of defeat but badges of a life lived in pursuit of something greater. They're evidence that you're being refined for a purpose beyond your imagination. Here's the big reveal: being chosen by God doesn't mean you're exempt from struggle, it means your struggles have meaning. Every tear, every doubt, every step forward and backward is part of a divine story. It's not about perfection or achievement, it's about surrender and trust. It's about letting go of your need to control and embracing the mystery of God's plan. Lewis wrote, "To love at all is to be vulnerable. And to be chosen by God is to open your heart to a love that transforms even the deepest pain into something beautiful." This is where transformation begins. It's not a single moment, but a journey, a series of choices to see your life through the lens of faith. It's waking up each day and saying, "I don't have all the answers, but I trust the one who does." It's learning to find joy in the midst of uncertainty, to see blessings in the midst of struggle. It's the realization that being chosen doesn't mean you're alone, it means you're part of something far greater than yourself. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on this. What if the signs that you're chosen aren't about what you do, but about who you are? What if being chosen is less about accomplishing great things and more about becoming the person God created you to be? This is the heart of transformation. It's not about striving, it's about surrender. It's not about achieving, it's about receiving. It's about letting go of your fears and doubts and stepping into the identity that has been yours all along, a beloved child of God. This journey is not easy, but it's worth it. As Lewis said, there are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. The signs that you're chosen are not just clues to your purpose, they're reminders of God's love for you. They're invitations to trust, to grow, to become. And as you embrace these signs, you'll find that the missing pieces of your puzzle begin to fall into place, revealing a picture more beautiful than you ever imagined. The mystery is not solved, but it's unveiled bit by bit in the moments when you choose faith over fear, hope over despair, and love over doubt. And in those moments, you'll see the truth: you were chosen, not because of what you've done, but because of who God is. This is the beginning of a transformation that will not only change your life, but also inspire those around you. So keep going. The best is yet to come. Every great journey has a moment of realization, a point where everything that seemed unclear begins to make sense. This is that moment for you. As we've walked through the signs of being chosen by God, you've likely seen reflections of your own life in the stories we've explored. The struggles, the longing, the transformation, it's all been leading you to this truth: you are deeply loved, intentionally created, and uniquely chosen for a purpose only you can fulfill. Think about that for a moment. Out of all the billions of souls in existence, God looked at you and said, "You are mine." That's not just an idea, it's a reality that changes everything. It means your pain is not pointless, your challenges are not random, and your dreams are not futile. It means every tear you've cried and every step you've taken, even when you felt lost, has been part of a divine plan to bring you closer to Him. This isn't just hope, it's a promise. And it's the foundation of a life rooted in unshakable purpose. But let's be honest, knowing you're chosen isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning. It's an invitation to step forward in faith, to embrace the calling God has placed on your life, even if you don't fully understand it yet. That's the beauty of this journey. You don't have to have all the answers, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. Because the same God who chose you will also equip you. He'll provide the strength, the wisdom, and the grace you need to walk the path ahead. This isn't just about you, though. The world is waiting for what only you can bring. The love you can offer, the hope you can inspire, the lives you can touch. These are the ripples of your purpose, spreading out in ways you may never fully see. That's what it means to be chosen. It's not just a gift, it's a responsibility to reflect God's light into the lives of others, to be a beacon of hope in a world that desperately needs it. So what's next for you? Will you let the signs you've seen today ignite a deeper faith? Will you choose to see your life not as a series of random events, but as a carefully woven tapestry of purpose? And will you share that purpose with others, inviting them into the same hope and love you've discovered? If this message has resonated with you, don't let it stop here. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, a friend, a family member, or even a stranger. You never know whose life you might change by simply passing this along. And if you want to continue walking this journey with us, join our growing community by subscribing to this channel. Together, we can dive deeper into the wisdom of C.S. Lewis and explore how his insights illuminate God's truth in our lives. Click that subscribe button now and be part of something bigger, a movement of faith, hope, and love that can transform hearts and lives. Don't wait. The world needs your light, and this is your moment to shine.